For those that maybe haven't quite seen this reinvention of Griezmann, how do you describe his role right now?
Freedom of allowing himself to be very versatile, but that's got to come from the manager because it's a weird one because of his form at Barcelona and never really got going now for a club fee of 100 million sterling to take him from Atletico to Barcelona. Never really worked out. They couldn't find a position for him. The club was in turmoil anyway. He goes back to Atletico Madrid. Then he plays only certain amounts of minutes for the club because there was a contractual issue. Yeah. They didn't want to pay 40 million euros for him. And then they've managed to negotiate a deal for 20, and now he can play as many minutes as they would love him to. But he has reinvented himself because he was used to be a wide man. He could be a centre forward. He could be an attacking midfielder. And I think quite clearly the role now of being that midfielder that's allowed freedom in front of a solid two like Rabiot and Tchouameni and play him just in front and then say to him, go where you want to go. Find space, find pockets of areas. It's a real skill that to find pockets in games.
But we were hearing there in that package there about the creativity he brings. And actually, if you look at the stats, it's quite incredible.
Yeah.
He has created more chances than any other player at this World Cup, 21 chances. And in fact, since Opta began their stats database when it comes to World Cup, so we're only going back to 1966, that's when they can... That's as far back as they went. There's only been one other player who has created more chances at a World Cup. So he's been massively influential to this France team.
But it's come at a price.
Go on.
Goals.
For him, yes.
Yeah, goals have not... if you take his record at Atletico Madrid, he was literally a 1-in-2 man for Atletico. But his latter years have been really... He's still got goals, but nowhere near to the same rate. And in this French team, he doesn't look like he's going to score, but he's going to cause havoc.
But isn't that... And I know you say, look, credit has to go to Didier Deschamps, but also credit to Griezmann in the fact that maybe he also has to realise that maybe is a role now he's going to have to implement going forward to extend his career, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely. And also he's incredible, as, we've heard there before, that... His work rate is exceptional. He's always looking to stretch teams, find spaces for others, and he's a very unselfish player.
Absolutely that. I was going to say he's humble and...
Selfless in the way he plays,
absolutely. And the fact he's changed his game to accommodate others who are getting the limelight more than he is, although we say that and he's still in contention to be player of the tournament because of how important he has been to France. But do you think... It's all come back by accident because of the injuries to Kante, to Pogba, for example, in midfield, that we are now seeing Griezmann in this reinvention?
Well, I wouldn't say by accident because before the tournament, this World Cup, Didier Deschamps had mentioned that Griezmann will be used in different ways because there was a bit of an outcry about him actually playing for the French national team. There was quite a lot of people didn't think he would start. And the French public were thinking it was not the Griezmann of 2018. And he's proved his manager absolutely spot on. Where he saw him as in a different role, he's delivered. And as he's grown confidence, because he clearly has, and he's all the minutes that he missed playing, he's looked really fresh.
Yeah,
he's looked so sharp. Energetic in games.
Yeah,
he's absolutely been on his game. So he's a far more complete player, but his goal numbers have dropped because of that. But he won't mind. I'm sure he won't mind because he will still get goals, but just not the same rate he got before.
But when you put him in the sort of midfield now of France with Rabiot and Tchouameni, is that a good three? Is that a solid three that you can look upon?
It's a solid two that don't really go anywhere, and then there's Griezmann that can wander everywhere in the forward areas. And he will do a lot of chasing back as well. Because he's got that N'Golo Kante type of energy where he just keeps going and going. You see him in the right back area, then you'll see him on the other side.
Well, it's
then
sort of like a box to box.
Yeah,
he's
got that in his game.
Yeah,
he really has. And you don't know how much a lack of confidence affected him in the Barcelona situation for him at the club because the club were in turmoil when he was there, and he would have been deemed one of the ones we need to get off the books and get out of the football club. Because of a huge salary and he wasn't delivering. Barcelona was in such a mess and he seemed to be at the forefront of that because of being a really big signing.
Has he been your player of the tournament?
He's certainly been up there. I think he's been brilliant. And I'm surprised how well he's playing. He's 31 now. He's been around a long time. He could have easily gone on the slippery road and going downwards, spiralling out of control and just sort of going, not say being forgotten, because he's shown by his manager how big an impact he can make in football matches, because that's what he's done this tournament.
Well, he's assisted 3 goals in Qatar. That's the joint most alongside Bruno Fernandes, Harry Kane and Lionel Messi. And it's obviously only him and Messi that can become the outright, if you like, assister of goals. But as we say, he's been massively influential for France. You say that he's one of the standout players. Who else then are you going to pick?
Well, I would go that certainly Lionel Messi's been up there. I think the goalkeeper as well for Martinez, and we talked to a goalkeeper. I think there's been 3 or 4 goalkeepers who have played really well this tournament. I would argue that some of the Moroccan players have been terrific. You know, just watching him, Hakimi at right back has been brilliant for Morocco when he's played. So there's been loads of standouts. I mean, Mbappe looked like he was going to run away with the tournament at one moment, didn't he? When he got to 5 goals really quickly, it was like, wow, he's going to end up with 7, 8, maybe even more. I'm saying that, he's got a World Cup hat-trick final hat-trick before, so he could easily do that again tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Don't rule him out.
No, he's had a quieter couple of games. Even though he's had an effect on Mbappe, he's still had a quieter couple of games. But he can come alive at any moment.
But it's a bit like with a Messi, though, isn't it? In the sense that we've talked about it many a time. You can watch Mbappe, you can watch Messi, and you'll sometimes think, they're just walking about. They're not really doing anything. And then it's a quick flash and a moment of magic both of them can create. And that's the incredible part of both of those players and what they can do in just that moment. Well,
I think it'd be fair to say that the World Cup final tomorrow will decide who's going to get player of the tournament. Because there's a few candidates in there. One is Griezmann, one is Lionel Messi, could be Kylian Mbappe, maybe a couple of others. But there's a number in there that could ultimately win the biggest prize. It's not only the World Cup, but also player of the tournament, which means a hell of a lot to a player.